Hello everybody, MegaZardX here, back at it again to give you all another very exciting collection reflection video where I take the time out to just go through my whole entire gaming library. It could be a game, could be a limited edition, could be a console. This is that one time of the week where I talk about something out of my gaming library, and for today we're going to be talking about none other than Pokémon Emerald. Now, yes, I did have to pop up an image up there for Pokémon Emerald's box art and stuff because, you know, I didn't keep the box case for Pokémon Emerald, or should I say my brother did though, because it was originally his game though. I do, however, have the cartridge, and as you can kind of see right here though, it is a little scratched up, it is a little scuffed up though, but it is an original copy of Pokémon Emerald, and oh my gosh, if y'all look up the prices of these games on, you know, eBay for the authentic copies of any of these Gen 3 games, oh my goodness gracious, yeah, you definitely don't want to pay that price of it though. But overall, Pokemon Emerald for me though, it was actually the second game that I ever owned that was a Pokemon game, or should I say a shared experience with my brother, because originally Fire Red was the first one and Emerald was the second one though, that I had with an introduction for the Pokemon series though. And this is set the gold standard of what Pokemon games should, you know, be for Generation 3, 4, and 5, and you know, and I think since then I felt like we hadn't really gotten that close from Gen 6 onward though. But yeah, this is like the golden era of Pokemon within this game right here, and I have a bunch of fond memories for this game in particular though, so we're going to go ahead and jump up in it right now though. So if you hadn't already done so, make sure you go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. Pokemon Emerald. Now, obviously, yes, the two other games that came before this was Ruby and Sapphire, and then Emerald just happens to be like that trilogy game of the one that took the best aspects from Ruby and Sapphire and included it up in here. Like, this is the definitive way to be able to go through and play through the Hoenn region in general though, because I don't know, just I think this is the only Pokemon game in the series where we actually, or should I say I managed to jump in on the third set game in the series and not even play like the original, what would be like the two standard games from it though. But from this point moving forward, like what I played Diamond and then Platinum, I played White, and then I played White 2 though, but it's the only one where I jumped into the definitive version, at least as the first entry though. And at least with Pokemon Emerald though, I mean, yes, you had all of the good aspects and stuff from Ruby and Sapphire though, but then obviously they managed to add some more exclusive content within this game, such as like the Battle Frontier, which this is the only Battle Frontier where we're actually able to have, you know, 7 different Frontier brains. That's like what you kind of used to see within the cartoons back in the day though. You know, showcase off within this one game, because I know in like, you know, future iterations like what Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, you had the Battle Frontier, but there was only 5. Not 7, but only just 5 though. So yeah, this is your only definitive way of actually playing through and battling 7 different Battle Frontier members though. But you know, as you're going through and exploring through the region and stuff like that though, obviously I think you had Team Aqua and you had Team Magma, and both of these two different antagonist teams were very iconic in my mind though. And at least, I don't know why, but the stakes never get that high, at least within modern Pokemon games nowadays. It was like, look at Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. Like literally you had, what was it, Team, oh gosh, they weren't even that good. I can't even hardly remember their names though. It probably hit me a little later on though. But you know that team in Scarlet and Violet though, they didn't really have any true ambitions. Like they didn't really feel like an evil antagonist team. Like I felt like though, you know, Gen 7 was probably like the last games, like with the Ether Federation and stuff like that, that you might have felt some actual real stakes though. But I don't know, it all kind of, at least for me, felt like it started off within this Gen 3 games, because you literally had Team Aqua that really loved the sea. You had Team Magma that really loved the air, the land. So literally they were going at each other's throats and saying, hey, look, I want to use Groudon to just make nothing but land and just wipe out the whole entire seas, which is a pretty whack scenario. Like, you know, the fact that the earth, like, it just wouldn't survive without too much water. And then you have Aqua on the other side, like, hey, we're just gonna flood it all out and make it predominantly sea though. So that's just crazy though, to the point where, you know, you had like that iconic fight between Kyogre and Groudon in Pseudoplis City and stuff though, and just seeing those different legendaries like clash and collide with each other, just causing different droughts and raining monsoons throughout almost like the whole chunk of the Hoenn region. Like definitely the sea areas you can feel quite a bit, and you can feel it at least a little bit on like half of the I would say some of the routes that were on land until you went too far on the west side of the region though. But it's just crazy to see that effect expand upon the whole entire different region. You don't really get to see, too many, effects like that, at least within modern Pokemon games though. So I definitely give credits like that. And I think it's like the first game that managed to showcase all different cutscenes. Like remember when Rayquaza was coming down from the sky, from that sky pillar, sky tower, whatever the thing's called, all the way down on Suitable City to break those two up from fighting those. So there's some really cool moments, at least within the game like that though. Now, I would say in terms of like the starters, in terms of, the Pokemon you're going to start the game off with, the only thing I noticed in another region where I noticed these three starters between Trico, between Torchic and Mudkip, where if you look at, all of their last evolutions between Swampert, Blaziken, and Sceptile, that's probably the coolest trio of starters I think I've ever seen in any Pokemon game in general. This is the only game I went back and played through multiple times and actually chose a different starter. For me personally, I really love my fire types, hence, Charizard being my, central logo for my channel and stuff. I really love my fire starters, and I always start off with them first. So I did start off the game with Torchic first, at least within one of my runs, though. But then I did go back and play through it with Trico because Sceptile looked really cool as well, though. And then obviously I went back and started with Mudkip to get that Swampert, though. So I would say, give the Pokemon Company credit, at least on that one, though. They made some really cool Gen 3 starters, at least within this one, though. And then overall, just the exploration and stuff, whenever you're just going through on the land and then going through the sea and stuff like that, it just felt like there was a lot of different areas you were able to go through and explore and stuff. Obviously, these games in particular did manage to have the introduction of double battles, so not just 1v1 single battles, but double battles. That definitely kind of gave a little bit of a challenge to the game in terms of like how you approach these different strategies and stuff. Like you would love to use a move such as Surf or Earthquake, but you have to keep in mind if your Pokemon ain't flying through the air or doesn't have like an ability known as Levitate, then they might get affected by certain moves though. So you have to kind of mix and match it, and that's just one of the staples today. Like doubles is like a standard competitive mode that a lot of people still battle in even to this day though. I really love triple battles that were introduced in Black and White. Bring that mess back, Pokemon Company, bring it back though. I kind of miss it though, that and rotation battles though. But yeah, they did manage to introduce some really strong staples, at least within this one game right here, though. Now, if you were to look at, the different legendaries that were offered within this game, though, I mean, you had a really cool collective group, a bunch. Like you had obviously Kyogre, Groudon, and Rayquaza. I already kind of talked about all three of them. You're able to catch all three of them in Emerald, though. But then you had like the Roman legendaries between Latios and Latios. Like you're able to choose one or the other, and the other one will be available via, I think it was the Eon ticket, if I'm not mistaken, though, where you're actually able to go to that island and able to capture it via that event, though. And then obviously you had the three Reggies, which, oh my gosh, why in the world did it... That mess was a whole convoluted mess. Like, why in the world did you have to go, underneath the sea, which was cool with the move Dive, which was like one of the couple of games. I think they had it in Gen 5 as well, though, but Gen 3 was the staple in terms of using Dive and going underwater to capture certain different Pokemon, though. But the fact you had to go and find that Relicanth, which had a 5% chance of showing up, man, oh man, I hated that mess. And then you had to get a Whelmer and evolve it into a Wailord and take both those Pokemon down that windy, rapid path in the ocean to get to that one specific land spot where you're actually able to go into this cave, read that weird decrypted text, which I didn't find out about until years later, where there was actually a alphabet conversion thing that was included within the physical copies of these games in terms of, in the instruction manual and stuff. They actually had a code for it though, but I don't think hardly anybody kept those things around. I mean, yes, you can look them up on the internet nowadays though, but at least when you were a kid going through and playing this game back in the day though, you wouldn't have even thought about that. But anyway, you had to go through a whole big convoluted mess using a whole bunch of different HMs and stuff like that just to go through and be able to unlock all of these different areas. It was a pain in the butt though. I'm like, my goodness though. Oh, whatever though. But yeah, you had all of them, and then you had all of these event Pokemon and stuff where you had to get them via events, and a lot of them might have been held over there in Japan. And I had to experience a lot of these different moments via an action replay just to unlock the event and then be able to go through and catch it. So you're able to get like Lugia, Ho-Ho, Deoxys, obviously the other Latios or Latios from that one island though. And then this is the only game where you're actually able to capture Mew. I wish they would bring these events back where you're actually able to catch them within games, stuff like that. Like they could do it with the DLC, but sometimes they just kind of give it to you outright. I just don't like those events though. I like the ones where you're actually able to go through and capture it. I think they're getting a little bit better with modern Pokemon though, but I don't know. It's just something about those classic games right there though. But Mew was the only one where I was like, you know what? This is the only way how you can get an authentic shiny Pokemon, at least in that game. And I actually took the time out to go shiny hunting for that Mew. And I did manage to actually get a shiny Mew. It was like, you know, that bluish color. I nicknamed him Zard. I don't really like nicknaming any of my Pokemon though, but I was going to nickname that one right after me because of the fact of how much time it took to be able to get that Pokemon though. But it is sitting in my Pokemon home. So I'm, you know, that's just kind of a staple, at least in terms of, you know, just going through and playing through Emerald though. So yeah, so I really do like a lot of different aspects about this game in particular though. And then obviously you're going through and getting all these different gym badges and stuff like that. The music in this game is so freaking phenomenal. I mean, even the Battle Frontier, or not the Battle Frontier, even the Elite Four music itself is really good. Gen 3, Gen 4, and Gen 5 had excellent Elite Four things, but after Gen 5 onward though, that's where it kind of got a little bit sketchy and stuff like that though. So I think it really started with great music within Gen 3 right here though. I mean, yes, really cool stuff though. I didn't like the fact how they put Wallace as the champion in Emerald versus Steven, who was the original champion, in Ruby and Sapphire, which I think he is like the true champion of the home region. I don't know why they kind of pulled that stunt though, but it does make his fight that you're able to do in Meteorite Falls that much more impressive whenever you do manage to fight him, because he is insanely tough in Emerald to actually go through and fight him though. But overall, I just have a ton of different experiences within Pokemon Emerald. And even recently, I picked up the game again and started going through and playing it again via the Game Boy player on the GameCube itself, though. So I was able to play it on my TV and stuff. And, you know, since I was going back through and playing through it, I was like, you know what? I figured this ought to be another video within my channel, just going through and giving my overall experiences within Pokemon Emerald. It's that timeless classic I just went and picked up time and time again. You know, you have unique items such as the go-go goggles where you're able to traverse through the desert and stuff like that though. You have the secret hidden bases and stuff where you're able to actually customize those different areas and stuff. There's a lot of cool unique things that were introduced within Pokemon Emerald. That's, you know, some of these things managed to get introduced into other things. I'd even talk about, you know, the Pokemon contests and stuff and making Poke blocks and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of cool aspects in this game. The list kind of goes on, and I gotta end the video somewhere though, otherwise I'll just kind of keep rambling on about Pokemon Emerald though. But overall, it's just such a freaking phenomenal game, and it's sad to say it though, but I mean, there's just not a lot of Pokemon games that are like, you know, this Gen 3 era or even the Gen 4 or Gen 5 era Pokemon games anymore. They just don't make them the same anymore though. But yeah, y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below, have you gone through and played Pokemon Emerald or even Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire and stuff like that? Have you, you know, attempted to try to go through and try to capture all these different Pokemon? Have you even attempted to try to get the national Pokedex filled out authentically? Because I think it's almost nearly impossible. And when I figured out you had to have like Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire, Fire Red, Leaf Green, even including like Pokemon Coliseum and Gala Darkness, you have to have almost all these different games, GBA, link cables and stuff, GBA, the GameCube cables as well. The mess, oh my goodness, the whole thing is convoluted. You need action replays and stuff. This is complete. National Pokedex filling back in that era is like a whole nother beast compared to what we have nowadays. I have like a running living dex right now that's basically like nearly completed at this point. I'm missing a few things from Scarlet and Violet, some of those unique legendaries and stuff. But overall, I feel like that was way easier than doing this back in the Gen 3 era, because that is definitely a challenge though. But yeah, y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below what all do you think about Pokemon Emerald as a whole though. But that's gonna do it for this video though. So if you really like this, make sure you want to hit that like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember y'all, until our video I make next, see y'all.